Good evening, everybody. It's Kylie here. I'm so sorry I was chatting away to you and I just realized I had not pressed start, so you were not able to hear me. Okay, so we'll get this show on the road, seeing as we're 1 minute late now. So welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to see so many of you here. Now, I've got a funny little message on my screen that says, attendees list is not public. So if anyone understands how to use the chat box and can chat back to me, can you just let me know whether you can see each other's comments there? I'm hoping that you are able to, but maybe you're not. But anyway, as long as I can see your comments, we'll get going. So welcome. It's very exciting to have so many of you on again, and I am really, really excited about this call because I actually literally just a couple of minutes ago finished a little chat with someone who was thinking about Destination Delicious. And it was a really good refresher for me of some of the main concerns or queries or kind of like sticking points potentially for people looking at doing a program like this. So I'm really, really thrilled to be able to speak directly to your questions tonight. So we will have live questions at the end of the broadcast. But if you've got questions as I go through, I'll keep an eye on the chat box and I will be able to answer them for you. So let us begin. So I'm not sure if everyone was at the first webinar that I did for Destination Delicious, so I'll just do a little bit of recapping of why I do what I do and what's included in the program itself, and then we'll move on to the questions. Now, as I said, I've just been speaking to a few people today that are asking questions specifically because I sent out a little link to say if anyone did want to have a phone chat, you're more than welcome to contact me. And it was really great to hear that so many women are considering investing in their own health and happiness. Because what I see a lot of is this picture here on the left-hand side of women that feel stuck and they're stressed and they're freaking out about life. They've got so many hats on, so many different people that they are trying to help or be of assistance of. They've got kids, they've got businesses, or they're working for someone else, and there's this real struggle of the juggle. And most of the ladies that I've been speaking with, the main thing that they've been talking to me about has been very much that they feel like they're overwhelmed all the time. They want to make changes in their life, but they don't know how to start. Or the other common thing that I'm hearing is, I'm stuck in this cycle of self-sabotage. I'm going around and around in circles, and it feels really uncomfortable. And I totally understand that. So let's talk tonight a little bit about the program, how you can go from stuck, stressed and struggling to calm and clear and confident. And I guess I picked the lady on the right there because I rather feel that Delicious Life does leave sunshine and reading good books out there. So what I mean by a delicious life, this is the whole premise of Destination Delicious itself. And it's really very important to understand what the term means. If you've been part of my tribe, you'll have heard me banging on about this concept of a delicious life. Basically, to me, a life that is delicious is one that feels like it is filling you up, body, mind, and soul. And I often actually use the term, you know, is your soul wagging its tail? Do you feel like day to day your soul is wagging its tail? And I'm not saying that you have to be happy at every point of every single day, because I don't think that that's really attainable or probably even a good state to be in, because there would be no contrast. But the thing really is that if you're not living a life that's filling you up, then you're not living your true birthright. My belief very much so is that no matter who you are or where you were born or what you were born with, that you do deserve to live a delicious life. And as we said in the first webinar, these are really the three fundamentals. You need to be able to practice letting go and listening up to your intuition. So a lot of the time when we're living a life that does not fit, our soul is that it does not fit, but our head is not listening to our soul quite often. The second thing is to bust all the bullshit, and excuse me if you do not like swearing, but I say that very deliberately. My big area of genius is being able to help women to bust through the stories in their head that limit how they turn up in the world and what they can create in the world. And the third thing very much so is learning to practice radical self-love or radical self-respect. And that's actually the three fundamental things that are taught in Destination Delicious. The nice thing was today that I had the pleasure of addressing a room full of ladies in Brisbane, and I'd been invited there to talk about the differences between being fulfilled in business and feeling like your business was like kind of keeping you as a slave. And to me, it's the same fundamental process. When you're in business or when you're creating a delicious life, the most important things are to be driven by your passion. And I wanted to just touch on my own passion so that you know that you're in safe hands and the real reason why I created this amazing journey. Now, my why is really about helping other women create what they want. I've come from a background where I thought that I had it all figured out at about the age of 28, and then my life completely changed. Had 2 daughters in 1 year, became a full-time carer for my dad, and what ensued for me was a big, long journey of losing myself and then finding myself again, and really having to learn how to listen to my inner compass. One of the worst things I felt before in my life is the feeling like I didn't have any power to change the situation. That a lot of these right now actually in some of the past intents of Destination Delicious. My why is very much about helping women go from powerless or feeling like they're powerless to being in control of their life and listening to their own inner compass. Let's think a bit about me. What did those ladies say about Destination Delicious as a journey, as a commitment themselves? A lot of them say things like, I'm more confident as a direct result. I'm really, really much more able to set boundaries or say no. For a lot of the ladies that come always doing their things, they don't usually want to say no. The ability to make decisions and also just accessing all of the down the bottom, which is actually I broke through life something that's quite common, feeling like you're not good enough in life. We're not just doing that of yourself, that's how you show up for your partner, in your job, towards your kids, towards other people in your life that are friends. So this sort of stuff, this sticking or lack of confidence or limiting beliefs is actually universal, and it's also very, very powerfully affecting every other person in your life. So that's why I do what I do. I have a deep, deep passion for, Rebecca is saying in the chat, is anyone else hearing Kylie as a robot? Oh no. Okay, just bear with me for a second, Rebecca. Is anyone else hearing me like a robot? Can someone just pop into the chat if they're having issues? Again, I'm not really sure whether all of you are actually seeing each other. I'm not sure I've got the setting right. This is a new webinar platform for me. It says it can be listed public, but then on my screen it's private. So I'm not sure if you can't see each other. You can definitely me. Rebecca, if you can hear me, please, can you just feedback me? Or not. Often that is a your end. I'm actually hardwired at the moment. Continue. The purpose of this webinar was to both go over that also yes, then I want to open up the lines. Now, I have a list of questions that I've been asked during the phone calls that I've done in the last 2 days to people that are looking at the program and have now, most of them, decided to actually come on board with us. So just, I've got a list of questions that I'll go through as well, but please, please, if anyone has any extra ones, pop them into the chat box, okay? All right, so I just wanted to refresh. I know that most of you on this webinar will have chosen already to go to the page that actually has all the information on it. But I wanted to revisit it because I think it's really important to understand what your investment gives you. I know there is an enormous amount of online programs out there. Sorry, can't make anything you are saying. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to just hang on for 2 seconds, everybody else. I'm just going to type back to Rebecca. I'm just explaining to Rebecca for everyone else on the line that there will be a replay that will play as recorded at my end. So it will be perfectly clear, and that will be available immediately that we sign off tonight. And I do think that we will keep this to about an hour, this webinar. I didn't want it to be too long because I know it's that time of the night when everything's quite busy. Okay, so just to touch base again with the content. The whole purpose behind this program is to provide you with the life transformation tools. And the way that I decided to do that was to put 2 inspiring video lessons in each week. They're delivered to your inbox on Mondays. You actually get one on the life principle and one on the mindset that can get in your way. So I really wanted to be, this program had to be about giving you the tools and the information, but also the bullshit busting stuff, because we are our own worst enemy. There's no one else in your life that's limiting you right now. It's just the things that we believe to be true about ourselves that either stop us or allow us to create what we want in life. And that is, you know, that's why I do this. I saw someone today at a networking event where I spoke, and she came up to me and said, my entire life has changed since I did your course. My business has improved. My relationship has improved. My children and I have sweeter relationships, and she has adult children. I've lost weight. I just look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, hello. And to me, that's the most amazing feedback, because that's how we all should be living. But the majority of people that I work with when they first come to me are really in a state of either self-neglect or even as bad as self-hate. And it really, really, it saddens me. So not only do you get the modules each week, but you also get the fun sheets. Now, these fun sheets, I call them fun sheets because some of them aren't fun. Let's face it. When you're looking at life transformation, sometimes you're going to have to go through some stickier or heavier memories or moments or beliefs so that you can clear them for yourself. So the fun sheets are specifically to have at home, to deep dive into each of the different modules, to implement the changes and not just, you know, read them and then tick and flick them. And also the other thing that you get, which is amazing, that's a very big part of Destination Delicious, is an amazing community of women that have either gone through the program before or are going through in your intake or your round. I hate calling them intakes. It's like an office something or other, but maybe I should say cohort, in your cohort. And then every Friday we have live coaching calls, which is with me. And I was just explaining to someone else I was speaking with that not only do I give personalized coaching and stuckness solutions there, but we have a lot of space for sharing, celebrating, being very honest about what our sticking points are. And I do provide one-on-one coaching within those calls. The beautiful thing about being part of a community is, of course, that you learn that it's not just you that has these sticking points. And so everything becomes easier when you realize that it's actually, you're not alone. So just to recap, you get 8 modules of life transforming health and mindset content plus the fun sheets, 8 live coaching calls. You also get a lot of different bonuses. So you get a Destination Delicious diary, which has all the content in it, and you build it for yourself each week. And that means that you can pick up the content at any time. So this is lifetime access. Another bonus I popped in was access to the world's leading women's health and happiness experts. So I've been creating interviews for 2.5 years now, and I'm actually opening up the library to you to have access to all of them. And they are absolutely golden. They're with people from all over the world, mentors of mine, colleagues of mine, people that I've actually worked with myself, and they are amazing, life-changing content. What I love about them, even for myself, is that I have them all on my phone. So when I'm heading out in the morning to walk, or I do, you know, my yoga or whatever, I'll pop one of those on about the thing that's challenging me at the moment. So if I'm being challenged by work-life balance, or being challenged by self-expression, or not, you know, getting into a rut of not exercising, then I just plug the relevant interview in and I get inspired again and off I go. You also get a digital copy of my book, access to recordings of my Love Yourself Silly workshop, and the priceless Destination Delicious community. Now that's a total value of over $2,300, and we've kept the price very, very reasonable for this 8-week program, and actually cut the price in half and made it $997 US. Now, Why do I charge in US dollars? This is something that a lot of people have asked me. Because I have a global business, what I need to do for PayPal and my payment gateway is to pick one central currency. Now, because I'm in Australia, you would think that would be Australia. Actually, I actually have more clients from overseas than I do Australian. So I picked US, and that's how we choose to charge. At the current exchange rate, 997 US is about 1,040 Australian. So it does make a little bit of difference, but not a huge difference. And I'd also like to tell you that we do offer 3 payments of 347, which means that you're just paying a little bit extra to do the 3 payments, but that's just to cover our admin costs. And you can actually pay by either PayPal or credit card, or if you want to go into PayPal and set up a bank account, you can actually set it up that way as well. The payments are, if you are 3 payments and you paid, say, this evening, you would actually be charged on today and then the 22nd of next month and then the 22nd of next month. So just to make that clear. So $997. Some people have said to me on the phone, geez, that seems like a lot for an 8-week course. And I said, you know what? The thing that I understand about courses like this is if we make it too low, you won't do it. If we make it too high, you can't afford it. This is the price where there is enough skin in the game and you are paying for the privilege of changing your life, not because I'm changing your life, but because you are investing in yourself and you are using the tools and the support and the accountability and all the deliciousness that is within the program for what you actually want to create for yourself. The other thing, actually, well, no, I won't answer that now because we've got questions later. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let us see. This is actually a video from some of the girls from the first 2 intakes, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to see or at least hear.
Participating in the business because I've done a lot of self sort of journeying over the last 18 months, and I basically felt like I hit a wall and I'd gone as far as I could possibly go on my own and sort of reached a point where I just knew that I needed some additional help. Yeah, the first thing that attracted me to doing the Destination Delicious program was I actually was lucky enough to be one of Kylie's one-to-one clients and was really inspired by those sessions, and Kylie herself is a wonderful facilitator. So it was, for me, a natural progression to want to share what I'd learned and to have more. I felt like I was standing on the precipice, about to leap off into great success and joy and happiness, but there was another ledge there. I'd go to leap off and I'd step onto another ledge that would make me wait a little bit further. I just couldn't go any further with what I wanted to do.
When I first met Kylie, 3 things jumped out at me: that I was not good enough, that I wasn't loved, and that I didn't belong. And so I knew that I needed to do something about that.
Before I started Destination Delicious, I was in a real place of disconnect and also a muddy place within my mind of where to go next, what to move on to next. I really felt like I had some clarity on what I wanted to do, but not on how to get it done.
For me, I've come to realise while I've been doing this that the blocks in me are not just on the surface, they're really down deep. I thought I'd done enough work on myself, and yet I find that I've still got blocks to my expression and also to my fulfilment.
The breakthroughs that I've experienced since starting Destination Delicious is probably the biggest one is that I procrastinate. And the reason I procrastinate is because that helps me to stop being successful. Because if I'm not successful, then I don't have to put myself out there, which would mean everyone would be looking at me. And that's where I have a real issue with confidence and self-worth. I've had many breakthroughs and realisations since starting the program, so it hasn't really taken much. There's so much great information. I have already listed with clarity my next steps. I've listed with clarity what my main focus is, down to about 3 words, which is freedom, time and connection, within my business. And that's what drives me to then achieve the next step and then the next step from there.
The best part of the course so far has been the discipline that I've needed to actually sit and write, because it's in the writing that I've actually learned more about myself and more of the blocks. So for me, I've done other things before, and you kind of in there for a day and don't get that time, or I haven't given myself the time to actually sit and write. So having that discipline has been just awesome.
I would absolutely recommend Destination Delicious to a friend, a family, a loved one. As a matter of fact, I already have. Just the other day, to help a lady that was having issues with mindset around the 50 kilos that she's just lost. And it's just already given me so much. But more than anything, Kylie is very genuine. You know that she's been through her own journey, and you can identify with Kylie, and it comes from a very genuine place, and that's what makes me feel comfortable, and that's what makes me feel comfortable in recommending this for anybody else, is that they will get genuine, real help.
The journey, and I'm a traveller, I love travelling around Australia, so I would just ask you to picture it as just one fantastic road trip where you have unlimited miles, or as little as much as you go each day, stopping off at the most beautiful waterholes and places that you just fill you up. So, and I mean in terms of place, people and food and just direction and love.
I would definitely recommend this program to anyone I know for this wonderful journey of self-discovery, but it's one of those things where you look at all of the different programs around and you look for that one thing that has a bit of a difference. This one has a difference. It helps you with actionable steps. So it's not just talking about the theory of how to think and what to think. It actually steps you through what to do next. So you're putting things into action, and it's only with action that you can create change in your life. So that is the difference with Destination Delicious. I'd totally recommend it to anyone who wants change, and real change and permanent change in their lives.
I would certainly recommend the program to friends. And how would I describe it? Well, it's an interesting journey of self-discovery. It's a way of unlocking who you really are, and something that every woman should do.
Very cool. I'm sorry that didn't actually work with the video part of it. That was a little bit of a technical glitch, but anyway, at least you got to hear it. So I wanted to include that because, you know, as the creator of something like this, I can go on and on and on until the cows come home. But what really speaks to me as an investor in myself when I'm looking for help with something that I can't access myself is, what do the participants say? What do the women who have gone through this course say? And I really want to focus for you guys on the questions that I've actually already been asked this evening. And as I said, I want to keep this to fairly short so that you can go back to your families and enjoy your evening as well. But just to continue on, I don't have any questions in the chat as yet, so if you can just pop those in the chat as soon as you're ready. So what I'm going to do is I will pop through a couple of the common ones that I have been asked on the phone, and then hopefully we'll have some in the chat. So let us begin. So a big thing that people are asking is, if you're not used to doing online programs or you don't live too much in the online spaces, how does it actually work? Well, it actually works by, we have a beautiful membership site that I call DDHQ, which is Destination Delicious Headquarters, and this is where you'll find everything. You find your bonus materials, links to all the live coaching calls, your fun sheets, your videos, and as each of the new modules open, you get a notification in your inbox straight via email to say, come on over and log in and see the new content. And that happens on a Monday, and then each Friday we have a live coaching call, which you also will receive all the details for automatically through our system. It makes it very, very easy. You don't have to remember multiple passwords or, you know, download heaps of stuff. Everything is there, right there. You actually get lifetime access with Destination Delicious, so you don't have to worry about you know, downloading all the content madly. That actually also means, and I think I'm prefacing something that I'll get to in a second, but it also means that if you do have something crop up in the 8 weeks and you have to miss a module, that you can come back, and that there's always that information and support in the Facebook forum as well. So some of the alumni from the first and second intakes, so this is our third intake now, have actually redone the course either the second time, or some of them are doing it the third time. And why is that? Like, I initially, when that was happening last time, I was thinking, oh, does that mean it hasn't worked? But actually the real truth is that when you start doing mindset reset work, you actually realize that there's a layer of stuff that you can dig into this time, and there'll also be more and more layers. Now, the beautiful thing about Destination Delicious is that once you have the tools, you know how to do it yourself. But there's also something very nice to be said about doing it in a group at the same time with the support. So that's why we actually do it that way. A lot of the questions that I've got as far as the cost of the program, it is a relatively large investment, $997. However, what I would like for you to consider is what it is actually costing you to stay stuck right now in where you are. Because obviously if you're considering the program, there's something inside of you that is not happy with where you are right now for whatever the reason. Now, I know that for me personally, my personal story of my sort of challenge and then moving through that myself, what I used to say to myself was, what's the real cost of me staying this large, this dissatisfied, this overwhelmed, and this lacking in direction? And I knew that for me to invest in mentorship and coaching for my own personal journey was, it was a huge commitment, but it was absolutely worth it, and it has been literally life-changing. And now I'm able to live my purpose of helping other women do it. And so the other thing I'd like to say about that is, as far as one-on-one coaching with me, my packages started at least $7,000 for 6 months of private coaching. And I realise that that's not accessible for every single person on the planet, and that's why I've decided to create group programs like this, where it is actually at a price point that is much more acceptable. And it allows more women to have access to this type of information. So as I said before, it's $997 US, but you can actually do 3 monthly payments of $347. Next question. There's still no questions in the chat box. In fact, I'm wondering whether this chat is actually working. Let me just go back here. No questions. Okay, obviously the chat's working because I can see Rebecca's questions, but I don't have anyone else's questions. So if anyone is wanting to ask a question, please just pop it in. Other questions about time and how do I actually immerse myself in an online course? One of the things that I need for everyone to be aware of is that the next time we actually release the course, it will be at a higher price point. This is because we're actually refreshing all of the content as far as the videos will be professionally shot, and we'll be upgrading the membership site and all of those things. Now, the way it is now is absolutely perfectly fine, and the content is still the same gold, but next time we will be just upgrading so that it looks much more polished, but it also means that there will be a higher investment. So if you're thinking that you might not have the time this time, but you're thinking, oh, I'll wait until the next intake, just be aware that it will be. Oh, thank you, Rebecca, for giving me that feedback. So still working, and Rebecca can hear me fine. I hope everyone else can hear me fine, because it's kind of a bit spooky when no one's interacting. But yeah, just know that if you come in at this price point, you do have lifetime access, and you can reset the program at any stage, and we always open it up to all of the alumni. Do we have a refund policy is another big question for a lot of people. We certainly do. I know that when you're investing in yourself, sometimes you can make a decision and think it's the right thing for you and then go, oh my God, it's so not. There is a caveat to my 100% money back guarantee. It is a 21-day period. It's not a period, God. It's a 21-day money back guarantee, as in you've got 21 days to try out the complete course, or the 3 modules that will be out in that time, and to get your money back. The one thing I will say about that, though, and this is quite a common thing with online courses, is the caveat is that you have to have actually done the work. So it's not okay for you to pay and then in 2 weeks go, oh, I've changed my mind, I want my money back. I trust that you will make an informed decision, which means that I'm more than happy to give your money back if you've done the work and you are totally just dissatisfied with the content or what the results are for yourself. So please be aware of that. Again, if you're not sure it's the right program for you, the best thing for you to do, and particularly this close to when we close the doors, is email me directly at kylie@kyliepaget.com. We will set up a time to have a quick phone conversation, about 15 minutes, and you can just lay any questions that you've got specifically on me and I can answer them directly. I think that's the best idea if you're not sure. Because I totally don't want people that aren't sure in the intake, I want people that are like champing at the bit to be in there as well. So it's good for both of us if we schedule a chat. Excuse me, why are my slides not moving? Sorry, bear with me for a moment. Same answer for this one. What if I'm not ready to deep dive into all the modules? The answer to that is definitely, although there's a course, there's a live intake usually twice per year, although this year possibly I may not be able to do the second one due to an overseas opportunity. But at least for this year, we will have this intake, and we'll be doing another intake about this time next year. Possibly we might do an October or November intake. But the content is evergreen, which means that you can always come back in at any time that you want and look at all the content again. And as I said, you have got lifetime access. So no questions still in the chat box. Rebecca, do you have any questions, seeing as I know that you can hear me and you know that you've got chat because no one else is talking to me? Oh dear, that's funny. Okay, how long will it take me to complete each module? Now, this has been a big one for a lot of the ladies I've spoken to. I'm definitely not going to say to you that this is an hour a week kind of commitment. To be honest, it's 3 to 3.5 hours at least, because of the fact that the whole point of this stuff is to give you the tools to look at all of your mindset, to look at all your potential blocks, and to really come up with your own answers for why and when and how you're limiting yourself, and then for me to actually give you the specific ways for you that you can actually get around that. Now, that means that it's a commitment. I'm not going to say that you can transform your life if you listen to me for half an hour a week, because it's just not going to happen. The pieces that you need to get through each week are the 2 video content, which is about 45 minutes, the fun sheets, which if you're doing them properly would be at least an hour, and then the coaching calls. And I've actually put an hour and a half on that answer, but the coaching calls are actually 2 hours now because we always go over time, so I've just made them 2 hours anyway. You also have the option of listening to all the guest experts and all the bonus material and all of that. However, what I will say to you about the bonus material is everyone looks at it at some stage, but it's not absolutely essential to keep up with the actual modules. The other thing I'd like to say about that is that you do have an integration week at week 5, that allows you to work on anything that you need to catch up time for. Because the feedback from the past participants was 7 weeks with 7 modules was quite a lot to get through if you did miss 1 week, because then you felt like you had to madly race to catch up. So what I've actually decided to do is give that integration week. So it's basically a catch-up week. We still have a call and everything. So thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca says I'm answering your questions as I go. I'll just continue on my merry way. This might be the quickest webinar under the sun. Now, this is a really good one, and I really want to speak to this. When I was speaking at the event that I was at this morning, someone asked me about this. And she basically said, look, I have done so many different courses, I've done so much reading, I know all of this stuff, but I still keep going on and on and on with the same patterns. And what I would say to that is that it's like when I started health coaching. I can give you every diet, and I can give you the exercise program, and I can tell you to meditate, and I can suggest you do this and suggest you do that. But the thing is, that mindset is not aligned to creating a lighter body, vitality, or calmer peace of mind, or whatever it is that you are seeking or desiring in your life, then it doesn't matter what tools I give you. The mindset is the missing piece, and it's the missing piece in the majority of plug-and-play programs out there. She said, well, I've done Michelle Bridges and it didn't do anything for me. And no disrespect to Michelle Bridges, but this is a very, very different thing. I know that I think Michelle Bridges does do a little bit of mindset. Someone told me the other day, because I said, Michelle Bridges doesn't talk about mindset. And they said, well, she does. But do you actually have access to someone stepping you through everything in a live group coaching call? Do you have access to a forum where you can actually come in and ask questions at any time? And do you have access to me, whose area of genius, I used to be a forensic scientist, and I actually like to think of myself as a Sherlock Holmes in your head now. My area of genius is finding the BS that keeps you stuck and small, and playing safe, which is what, most of us have been bred to do, unfortunately, stay smack bang in that comfort zone where nothing ever happens. and actually, combine all of my different strengths. So medical science, natural medicine, human behavior coaching, including NLP, which I'm a big fan of. And the fact that I have coached over, hundreds and hundreds now of gorgeous, amazing women to go from stressed and struggling to creating what they really want in their life. And that, to me, is the biggest difference. Destination Delicious is not just a plug and play. You do this with your diet and this with your exercise and you meditate a couple of times a day and it's all going to magically go away, because it's a load of crap. I can tell you all of that right now, and depending on what your mindset is, you will or you won't go and do it. So that's the difference. The key missing piece is that I'm not going to just push you out there with, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 equals whatever, and then you have to go and figure it out yourself. I am very, very passionate about the fact that when you change your life and the way that you are towards yourself, you are actually creating a ripple effect. I almost said a lipple. I was trying to say I love ripple, and it came out lipple. A ripple effect. And that ripple effect is really, it creates a change in everyone that you interface with. Because when you change the way that you treat yourself and when you start listening to yourself, you can actually, touch people in a very different way. And it means that you're magnetic to all these amazing opportunities that are yours for the taking right now, but you just don't see them because your mindset and your limiting beliefs are getting in the way. So that's a very long-winded question, basically, for that one. And it really is about, going back to your old habits is all about the fact that if you're doing something that's working at the surface, you're not actually digging down to the underneath, which is actually the root cause. Do I have any other questions? I don't even have any other questions prepared. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, what I do have is a very quick audio interview. Now, this was actually supposed to be live. There was supposed to be 3 of the girls with me live, and it's just so happened that I've had the week from hell with the vomiting bugs through my house, and so I actually had to pre-record just one of these interviews, and it's actually with the beautiful Angela Raspas, who's on the screen at the moment. Angela is a self-worth mentor herself, and she did Destination Delicious this time last year because she felt like she was transitioning from one area of her life to the other, and she just wanted something else in her toolbox to help with that. So I think it's around about 5 minutes, so I'll leave you with this. Is it 5 minutes? Oh, it's a lot longer than 5 minutes. All right. So I'll play this, and then we will tie up. And again, if you want to have any answers done for you, let me know, please, in the chat box. Hello, and we're welcoming Angela Raspas to the studio today. How are you, Angela?
I am extremely well, Charlie, thank you.
Now, the gorgeous Angela is a colleague of mine and also a self-worth mentor. So before we dig into Destination Delicious itself, I'd love for you to introduce to our listeners what you actually do in your own business.
Oh, well, thanks, Claire. This is probably one of the reasons you and I just resonate so well together, because I have a huge background in marketing and consulting and working in small business, but in the last couple of years, I went through a radical change. I was very, very burnt out from that business, and I decided to let go of the staff that I had and reposition, move in a new direction. Because what I discovered is a lot of the women in particular that I was working with, I could create with my staff the best marketing plan possible, that could really help position and lift business. But if they didn't feel that they, or they didn't believe that they were capable of creating a really successful business, or that they really deserve that success, that plan tended to sit on the shelf and not really happen. So that's where the self-worth piece came in, of helping people see their own inherent worth so that they could take their business or their life to the next level. So I really combine in an area of wholehearted business and life, helping people combine that purpose and prosperity together.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. I love it. And I think that when you joined us, it was a year ago now that you did Destination Delicious. You were just starting the transition, weren't you? So was it at the time that you were feeling burnt out, or a little bit further on?
It was a little bit further on, but here's the thing. I felt burnt out. I changed one thing, which was I let go of my staff.
Yeah.
And thought, well, there you go. I don't have to have responsibility for them any longer and worry about, paying all the wages. I hadn't addressed anything else. So that's my destination. Appeal to leave him first myself in the concepts and the philosophies that you have.
Yeah, beautiful. Excellent. So when you began the course, what was your sort of what attracted you in the first place? Because I know when you were in the first intake, so I wasn't even sure how it all run, to be totally honest. I knew that these were the principles that I'd used to transform my own life, but I certainly put it out there and said, this is a life transformation program, and I'd be really interested to see what you thought of it.
Well, there's two things. Number one is that I've already read your book, and the philanthropic principles resonated with me, and made perfect sense.
Yes.
But a huge amount of it was to do with you. And you have such an energy, such a vibe, such positivity, such a bubbling personality. If you do a program that promised somebody a taste of how to live in that way, that's it.
Nice. Oh, thank you. That's very awesome feedback. And so we step by step through all of the different principles, and I know that you said before we were recording that you'd made notes on all the different modules. So for you, what were some of the really big realizations or shifts or ahas that happened during the 8-week program?
It was definitely the way to approach modules where you've got the actual practical exercises, but the reflection and the mindset on the other side. There's there are so many beliefs that drive us, and most of them are unconscious. You just don't know what the heck's going on. So even after I finished the program, new beliefs kept turning up. So it's almost as though it ripened me for being aware of, the bullshit that was happening in my head. I'll just give you one prime example. When we're doing the people module, we were reflecting on our family roles and beliefs and the dialogues that happened back then in the relationships. And I recognised only recently, when I was looking back through them, that a belief I have about not knowing enough when it comes to my own business, got to learn more.
Yes.
That came from my dad, because my dad dropped out of school at 12 because he was on a farm in New Zealand and had to help look after the family because his dad died. And my dad his whole life has had the belief that he's dumb and he's stupid and he doesn't know anything, which is so not true.
Isn't that amazing?
And I realised that I keep chasing education because I didn't go to university or anything like that, so I've always had this feeling of not knowing enough, and I finally realised where it came from, and it was great to be able to get that out in the open and go, bugger off.
Yeah. Isn't it awesome? I love the, I know I've said before that we've spoken about, one of my favourite Carl Jung quotes is, what's not brought to conscious awareness is taken as fate. And I think that for me, that quote means that when we are not aware of these patterns or where the patterns come from, it's running our life like it's just our lot in life, so kind of like fate. So for you, if you hadn't been consciously aware of that, you would never have woken up to the self-realization that actually you are good enough without another piece of paper or whatever. And that's so true. And I think that was what I really, really wanted this to not just be a theory program. I wanted it to be something that someone could pick up, do, and then have it unfold for the rest of their lives, ideally. That was my intention.
And you don't realise that when you're doing it, you have, or in my case, I had aha moments and like, oh my God, but it's the ripple effect.
Yeah.
Because at that point you just said, once something comes into your consciousness, it almost sort of starts a domino effect.
Yes.
And other areas, in terms of your desire for it to be practical, absolutely. The plate section, where your meal and shopping planners, they're printed out, sitting in my kitchen, and they're used every single week. I can't say, I've got to be honest, I can't say that my diet is completely perfect, but it's improved. So look at the progress.
Neither's mine. So funny.
And another one, the power section, where you gave examples of 3 different, like a blend of exercise to consider.
Yes.
And I'd never thought of it like that. I think it was flexibility, endurance, strength type stuff, and how to bring those 3 aspects into your life. That was a duh moment where, again, something that I'd never thought about, but once you have brought it out, made such logical sense to me and was inspiring.
Well, that's what the other thing that I was talking to someone on the phone about the program the other day, and she said, well, is it just going to be something like Michelle Bridges? And I said, well, God bless Michelle Bridges, but I don't want this to be a one-size-fits-all magic pill supposed solution, because I don't believe in one-size-fits-all for starters. It's all got to do with, these are the things that you actually need. These are the essentials as you, as a beautiful human being, need. And now then it's up to you to fulfill them. And I think that that's the biggest thing, even with the power stuff. Like, you know, so many of us think that diet and exercise is the only two things that have to do with health. But, you know, if you don't want to be going to the gym 3 times a week and a trainer tells you that you have to, you're not going to go to the gym 3 times a week anyway. So there's no point giving this, you know, one size fits all. But if you give people a container and then they get to put in what they want, it's so much easier. Because, you know, I'm a bit of a rebel. I don't like to to play by anyone's rules. So that's why I created a program that didn't have rules in it.
Excellent, because I'd be exactly the same. There is that in a, I don't know, 5-year-old, fold my arms, snap my feet and go, yeah, I'll do that.
Or maybe more like
that way.
Yeah, exactly. Probably stronger words. But anyway. Okay, cool. So during the 8 weeks, like you've mentioned, like you had some ahas, but here we are a year later. What practical difference or mindset differences do you notice now in the way that you treat yourself a year on that have been, you know, rippled out of Destination Delicious or as a result of the ahas that you had during the 8 weeks?
There's a couple of key ones, and the first one is the negative self-talk, which has softened significantly. I think the expression that you use is that you've got to be your own best friend, you know, radical self-respect in terms of looking after you. And that has to start with the way that you speak and regard yourself. And I caught myself often, you know, looking in the mirror and saying, not very nice things, and realising that that was just not the way to treat myself. So there was a definite shift there of a hell of a lot more positive and kind language into myself. Now, that might sound like such a small thing, but it creates a huge shift. When you no longer beat yourself up verbally, that then has a ripple effect on how you treat yourself in other ways.
Yeah.
And to me, I think is that what you're after? You were hoping that would happen.
I'm like, this is the point.
It definitely happens. And once you start to embrace that, the concept of fear of trying new things, it lessens.
Yes.
You know, I mentioned how I changed the business model, and I've been evolving hugely over the last 12 months.
Yeah, you have.
And moving in new directions, and I have no doubt that the foundations that were built for me in terms of, you know, prosperity, another section of the course, where creating that abundance mindset and being really aware of the way that I want to feel, and coming out with the feelings of I want to be certain, I want to feel vibrant, I want to feel connected, and my big words, wholehearted. And really identifying with those words and using them as a lighthouse to guide me with the decisions that I make. You know, a lot of that stuff, I have no doubt that the roots or the seeds were planted during the Destination Delicious journey, and you know, and they're starting to blossom now. So I just bloody get on and do it.
Yeah,
about it.
Just do it.
You will be really surprised at what comes out. You know, surface level, but then you delve beneath that, and a whole new layer comes through.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that the other thing that I really want to have people understand is that it's not just an 8-week journey as far as, you know, you sort of plug in and you do the 8 weeks and all of a sudden your life is fantastic. That's not what we're promising. What we're promising is the tools to be able to consistently question your own bullshit in your head, and to have that loving relationship with yourself. And, you know, this is still a work in progress for me as well, is making sure that you're being your own best friend, that you're cultivating healthy habits and healthy, even the way that you speak to yourself internally is a huge one for women, because then when life does throw you the curveballs, which it inevitably will, you've got tools and you've got an even keel to sail through it, rather than be buffeted around like most of us feel, you know, insecure all the time. So that's the real sort of takeaway, I think, for me, is that I was actually thinking the other day, this is the 3rd intake we've had, I might actually do the program again this time with everyone, because it's a really great reminder of, you know, all the essentials of yourself.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. One of the great things is that we can go back and revisit. You know, that's a huge advantage, not to have just gone through the program once and that's it. You know, thanks very much for coming.
Yeah.
You're a part of a community. You know, we're a part of a community now, and that's a huge thing for a lot of women. If you don't necessarily have your own micro community of people who are supportive of the changes you want to make in your life, it can be very lonely.
Yeah.
But once you're at Destination Delicious, there is a community there which will throw open its arms and embrace you and go, "You feel like crap, Kate? I've been there."
Yeah, exactly. And I think that
helps. Okay. No, I was just saying that helps. That helps significantly. That you're part of almost like a movement.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing that I've seen myself this week as we've opened the doors for the next round is that all you girls that have already been through the program, like there's 50 of you, and now there's like a community of almost 70 in there, and everyone's welcoming the newbies, and it's just like, this is so cool. It's like a big sister program or something at school, but it's an online community. And I actually had an email from one of the ladies who's just new, who won one of our scholarships, and she just said, already I've been made to feel so welcome in a digital space that I feel like I can share things that I would never share usually. And I thought that is just the power of women in community, being honest and being open and supporting each other. It's just an amazing thing. And that's you guys. It's not me. It's that community of all of you that have done it. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. No, totally agree with that one. And I'm going to jump in there and welcome some of the girls as well.
Yay! Very cool, very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Miss Angela. I know that you actually are in Broome at the moment and you've gotten out of bed early to record this interview. So thank you. Big love to you. And I'm so glad that our paths intersected. And yeah, we'll speak with you very, very soon.
That'd be great. Thanks, Carlos. Have a great day.
Very cool. So that was the beautiful Angela Raspass. As I said before, I am very sorry that we don't have live interviews. It just didn't work out this week from those beautiful, beautiful bugs that go through an entire house. So like a lot of you listening, I'm a mum who is juggling lots of different things as well. And thank goodness for me, I have a super, super, super supportive hubby. But when all four of you go down with a bug, it definitely puts things behind. So I wanted to tie up. Now, again, I can still only see Rebecca's comments, so I do think that there is something wrong with the chat box. I'm very, very sorry for everybody else that's on the line. And if you did have questions and I haven't covered them already, please do not hesitate to email me directly at kylie@kyliepatchett.com. So KYLIEPATCHETT. I would like to reiterate that if you do decide to invest in yourself and you do the work for a few weeks and you just don't think it's a good fit for you, you do have the satisfaction money back guarantee. So that is available to you. So really, what's on the table offering to you at the moment is a chance to have all of the health, all of the mindset tools to create real change with a community of amazing women, and me as your cheerleader and butt kicker, and also a hell of a lot of bonus materials, etc. So I do invite you to join us. As all of you will already know, the URL for the actual page that you can click through and join us on is kyliepatchett.com/GoDelicious, GODELICIOUS, which is on the screen at the moment. And I think that's all that we really need to cover tonight. As I said, I didn't really want to make this too long, and as we have answered all the questions that I've already got, most of the people that I've actually spoken to have really just communicated to me how pleasant it is to have someone accessible to be able to talk to before they make a decision. So I would really like to invite all of you that are on the line tonight, if you do have any questions, if you do have anything in your heart that needs to be answered before you can in good faith make this investment for yourself, for your health and your happiness and the impact that that will have on everyone that's around you, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm not a big high pressure salesperson. As I said before, I really just want women that need help and want help and are ready to change in the group. But if you do need to speak with someone because you're worried about the investment or you're worried about whether it's a good fit for you, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to spend some time with you on the phone. I do have a small amount of space tomorrow afternoon and then spaces on Monday still available, sprinkled throughout the day, so to suit most people. So on that note, gorgeous people, this is another couple of just testimonials there. Little bit of a reminder that the cost at the moment is $997 US, but it will go up next round to $1,297 to reflect the upgraded membership site and all the other fancy upgrades and revisions. Again, it's not so much the content that will be updated, although that is always added to with all the extra bonuses and things like that I develop. It's more so the look and feel of the end things. So one last question that a lot of people ask me is, how does it all work? Basically, the very simple answer is you click that yellow button when you get to the page that I've just given you, the Go Delicious page. Choose your payment options. You have the option to pay in full or 3 monthly payments. As soon as you get access to our community on Facebook, you get your Destination Delicious headquarters login. You can get started on my book and any of the bonuses that are there. And this slide should not still say for the first 48 hours you go into the early bird prize draw, because we're after the early bird, so please ignore that part. We do start on Monday the 26th of May, which is just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 sleeps away. So the Facebook community is already kicking and partying and meeting each other and high-fiving, and we would love to have you join us. So please invest in your health and your happiness. That's the URL again. And as I said before, if you do have any outstanding questions, I'm not sure what is going on with the chat tonight, but my sincere apologies. Seems to have been one of those weeks for a few technical things. But please do reach out at kylie@kyliepaget.com if I can be of any assistance. And I look forward to seeing at least some of you inside the forum, kicking goals and creating what you really, really desire in your life. The very last thing in closing that I would love to say to you is that it's not something that you need to fix about yourself right now. You are already perfect, whole and complete. The only reason why you might be stuck or frustrated or struggling at the moment is just because you're telling yourself some BS, some limiting story, something in your head that isn't actually matching up with your true amazing beauty and absolute deserving of having a life that fills you up, mind, body and soul. And I say that with all sincerity. I have completely transformed my life. These principles have completely transformed hundreds of my clients' lives, and I look forward to really, really having you on board and helping you to do the same. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to Rebecca, who has kept me company by chat because I can't see anyone else. She says, your casual conversation and vibrant personality is refreshing as always. Thank you very much for that feedback. I often wonder whether I'm a little bit too casual, but I think, you know what, this is me, and me being me means that I'm magnetic to the right people and not to the people that don't fit with me. So that's all cool. So on that note, beautiful people, thank you and good night.